Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4, and today spawning the southwest corner map playing in orange. We've got Kiljardi playing as the French, and his opponent in the northeast playing in purple. We've got GOA playing as the Mongols. Welcome everyone to Dry Arabia. We're back on the classic map, the map that we all know and love, and going up against two original civilizations. Of course, we've been spoiled by the Sultan's Ascend DLC, but we're going vanilla today. The French versus the Mongols. It's a matchup that we've come to know and love. Mongols do pretty well on this one, I gotta say. We shall see if anything's changed on the most recent patch. Got a nice Uvu there on the back, and I just wonder whether we'll see an outpost rush, and we've got to, really. I mean, it's the Mongols, right? What would Mongols be without an outpost rush, especially against the French? You kind of have to target that gold. Now, that's what's going to be important for Kiljardi. He's got the gold in an interesting spot. I mean, it's relatively exposed in the early game, especially if it's scouted. It could be worse. It could be on the front of his base, right? But one thing that's kind of nice as the game does progress, like one outpost here is actually going to be really good. The positioning is not too terrible. Like if he gets one outpost there, it's very difficult for that gold to be pressurized, and also later in the game, it could wall up quite nicely. But obviously, some time to go. I mean, can I just wait? This map, there's 2 deer camps here. This is actually a really nice base layout generally. Like if Kiljardi eventually in the game, if he walls up to that corner there, that edge of the map, and then walls up to the wood lines, he's got berries, 2 deer camp, and a gold. That could be really strong for him. But of course, the Mongol is going to be looking to deny that. And we'll see if he manages to do just that. How's it going, Portuguese? Hope you're doing well. Now, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, I am streaming live on Twitch these days, and there's a lot of idle villagers, or just 1 or 2. So yeah, if you want to watch me live on Twitch, I'd be love to see you here. So make sure you maybe drop a follow on the old Twitch side of things. I'll leave a link in the video description. It's been fun on Twitch, I gotta say. I generally don't necessarily chat with Twitch too much within games. I try to focus on the cast, make sure I don't miss anything, but definitely between games, I do like to catch up a little bit. So I'd love to see you there. And the Mongols, map generation isn't necessarily always a big deal for them against some civilization matchups, but it can be against the French, because the French do tend to try and get those knights out, lots of mobility. The Mongols, they're going to have to be protective of their pocket economies. Sending a couple of spearmen now, and setting a villager nice and early. Very early, I gotta say. Which Kiljardi did spot with his scout. But has got the gold, and also does delete the mining camp. And it means that the mining camp doesn't get raided, doesn't give away that gold and the income to the Mongols, and that outpost will go up safely. So whilst this is a nice spot, by the way, can I just say this outpost in this position is really important for GOA, because we talked about how earlier there's so many resources here. And the French love food, they need food, and all his food is in one spot. So whilst I said it's actually kind of a good thing for the French, maybe it's a bad thing. Because whilst it's easy to get if you can secure the area, well, if you can't secure it, it's easy to deny. And with that one outpost, well, he's denying a lot of resources. I think GOA, if he really doubles down in this area, it could be a really big problem for the French. The question is, what landmark will GOA go up with? Maybe the Silver Tree? I would love to see the Silver Tree, actually. This kind of aggression into trade could be quite nice, despite the nerfs in trade. We shall see if he plays the traditional deer stones. And it will be the deer stones. And bear in mind, that doesn't count trade off the cards. You could always just build a market. It's always an option. The French going up with the School of Cavalry, no real surprises there. Adding an archer range pretty quickly, by the way. And that just shows you how aggressive these two players can be. But ultimately, you want their archer range to deal with those spearmen. And the spearmen garrisoning inside. Villager heading back home now. Now, this is something interesting, actually. With the villager already so far forward, I do wonder how much value you can get by actually adding in more outposts and getting more arrow slits, because it denies the resources for longer, right? It takes longer for the French to deal with it. But I don't know. It's something that we don't see very often, right? We often see the Mongols just drop down one outpost and then that's the end of it. And it seems like that's going to be the case today again. Interesting enough, Kiljardi going for a second town centre. Which, by the way, is an interesting play because the French already have a fast working town centre, so economy-wise they will be ahead in terms of villager count. Kiljardi want to maximise that with the second town centre. Gets a knight here. pressurizing the gold. It does take out one villager. And there is the deer stones. The tech up there for the Mongols. Looking to get an arrow slits in placement. And of course, whilst there's a lot of resources here in the south area, I mean, to be fair, you could actually probably send villagers around the corner, around the edge. Probably get away with it. Yeah, it's always an option. The boar is in the south too. And the Mongols going to get a stable, looking to get those Keshiks on the map. And the reason why I like the way this match is turning out, whilst it's been relatively quiet for and it's going to be relatively quiet for maybe the next 2-3 minutes, it could heat up quite quickly because that second town centre for the French, I mean, the French really need a lot of food. If they want to keep up night production, if they want to keep up 2 town centres which are running faster as standard, that takes a lot of food income being required. It means they can't pump out units, and well, that leaves them super exposed to a Mongol aggression. A double early horseman play. I mean, he's not waiting about, right? He's not waiting for anything. He's going straight for the horsemen. He's not waiting for the gold for Keshiks. No, no, no. He wants those horsemen out nice and early. Gonna get a second town centre on the berries. Gonna be playing pretty condensed. And I don't necessarily hate that. I quite like it actually, because ultimately it is ultimate greed, right? To go 2 town centres of the French and place it the second town centre super exposed. In fact, in the recent patch, with the recent nerfs that you've got on town centres having less garrisonable spots, it's a bit it's super risky to go out exposed here. And you know, you can see the horseman there already out there, just seeing if that was the case. But no, kiljardi not going to be too aggressive with that placement. Can head out to the berries, maybe build up an eco lead and then push out. Now bear in mind, this is actually a tournament game hosted by a chap called Road, I believe, as part of the Rising Empires team, I think. So big thank you to him for hosting this tournament and these games, and I gotta say, these players playing out in this set, this is where you want to be in Age of Empires, watching these kind of players play. Gets a barracks and an arch range, one of each production building type, and that's going to put the French in a good spot. But what's not in a good spot are these number of horsemen going up against the French. The French are going to be a bit scared about that. The knights should be able to come back to the town centre and be safe and secure for now. But you can see a lot of the map control, and this is one of the reasons why the Mongols did often do a lot of aggression into trade. But the Mongols are actually going to be behind on economy quite significantly. The Mongols, I mean, Jiwei's got to be careful about this, because that second town centre is really putting a pressure on him to do a lot of aggression. He needs to do some damage. He needs to do it fast before that French economy gets out of hand. Yeah, he's going full aggression, getting an arch range of his own. Looking to snipe out some spearmen that are on hand. And kiljardi starting to wall up, which is a really nice approach just to narrow the angles of attack that can happen. And yeah, just drawing, and this is, wait, villages, yeah, okay, it goes back onto wood, but this is drawing a lot of the aggression into certain located areas, and kiljardi won't be too disappointed by that. You've got to be careful though that you get some more units in this area, but it's coming out to repair, and well, we'll get there in time, and it buys time for the army to get there. The archers might start to pepper arrows over the palisades and pushes that army away. Jiwei struggling to do damage, and this is where things become a little bit scary for him. Might go for a castle age behind. He's got to do something, right? Because he's banging his head against a wall right now. He hasn't been able to do much damage, and the longer this goes, the French are starting to build that eco lead very heavily, and gives him more time to translate that into military. Horsemen starting to push a little bit down the south, maybe where that outpost is, but I mean, that outpost might actually range some of the villages on woods. He's got to be careful. Might need to transition onto another wood line, but not needing to just yet. In fact, no, I don't think he will range that. Not until it gets to about this tree, which is, to be fair, no real chance of that happening too quickly, as long as he goes through the middle. Now fully walled up on the west side. Going to protect the berries as well. Another source of food, of course, and he's going out to those berries now, as needed. And walling to the town center. Now, this is a great spot here for kiljardi, I gotta say, because what this does is it focuses all the aggression to coming down the south. And whilst there's a lot of resources here for kiljardi, he has established a bit of control of the gold and berries here, which will sustain him for a while. Getting the army down the south, and what this does is it allows kiljardi just to defend one spot, which is exactly what you want to do when you're trying to boom away. Focus your enemy's attacks in one area. I think the biggest concern for GUA is that he's got a lot of units on the field, but he's not able to get much value out of them. And so when you think about resources and how you use them, if you use them in units, you've got to make them count for something. Because those resources could have been spent on other things. Could have been spent on a castle age tech up for better units, perhaps. Either way, he's finding it difficult to do damage. He's getting some blacksmith upgrades, so maybe just waiting for a timing push, timing attack. It could be well on the cards. And if he times it well, it could still work. Archers firing over the walls and does snipe out one villager, maybe at least. He should get one. Be surprising if he doesn't get a single one. Does pick off one. Doesn't have textiles just yet. Backing away the spearman. Oh, but the pathing through that narrow gap means he loses a horseman. Having to back away. Looking to get steeled arrow, but there aren't that many archers anyway. Mostly spearmen, but oh, this is not, I'm not so sure about this fight here for GUA. A decent number of archers there for the French. Couple of units in the south now looking to group up. Behind this, has GUA thinking about getting a second town centre? Doesn't seem like it, although he's getting a decent amount of wood, 400 in the bank. Oh, that's a nice bit of raiding here. Knights coming in the gold. That's going to make things very difficult. GUA doesn't react quick enough. He's going to lose quite a few villagers. And that is rough. Those knights always have that ability, and of course Mongols don't have the ability to wall up, and it means they're super exposed in areas like that, even with an outpost. Knights just need a couple of charges and they get through and kill villagers. He's killed 5 so far. GUA though, he's falling right behind. Yeah, I think he's eyeing up a second town centre, but 2 town centres for the GUA and the Mongols won't keep up. It just won't. Not against the French town centres. Trying to break through on the walls on the west side. Should get through quite quickly though. Kills 1 or 2 villagers, but killing 1 or 2 villagers here is not going to be enough, I'm afraid. And now it's going to address that outpost. And he abandons this. This is actually kind of smart for kiljardi because he's abandoning an area which doesn't have that much resources left. Although there's a decent amount of gold, right? But he's swapping it for a better location. Down in the south, the deer camp, which is exactly what he wants. And GUA, unfortunately, falling into that. He's still losing a couple of villagers, but, you know, with 2 town centres, he'll be fine. There's a lot of villagers in one spot now. The pastures, working hard to get those sheep out. Still pumping in those units, and kiljardi is going to commit to that feudal age. This is where things become really difficult, right? Because kiljardi has no pressure to go to the castle age at all, with the Mongols being aggressive in the feudal age. And ultimately, kiljardi will start to outproduce his opponent once that eco really starts to get kicking in. There's a lot of hillsmen and spearmen though. There is a timing window that could be dangerous. Still in the cards here potentially for GUA. Might need to get some rams. If he can. Maybe... Was he going for a second town? I don't think he's going to go for a second town. I think he's pretty much all in. A second town centre would be a mistake. It's probably for rams, right? Doesn't have siege engineering just yet. Where is he spending his wood? Is it more production? So that's some pastures for now. This is huge, by the way. Getting this deer camp, there's so much food. GUA has really struggled to do damage. Keshik's on the field, a couple of spearmen looking to try and harass those knights, 3 of them. One of them should go down on 4 HP. Will he get out of there? 3 HP. If he gets chivalry, kiljardi, that'd be a good spot to get it now. He doesn't quite have it yet. GUA senses blood though, moving down south, and military numbers looking pretty decent for kiljardi though. As time goes on, maybe needs another 2-3 minutes and he should have this game pretty sewn up. Villagers garrison inside the outpost. Only 1 built so far. Another one just about to go up. Will it be denied or not? It's going to get built. Khan uses the ability. Spearman going to try and torch down it, or thought about it. But he's going to take out the army first. He's going to try to at least. A large number of archers there for the French. He should take that fight pretty well. If he takes out the spearman numbers... Well, actually, it's looking a bit rough here for the French. He's got quite a few cavalry. Not enough spearmen. A couple of knights there. Going to charge on the archers. Spearmen get on a hand. Snipes out 1 knight. Snipes out a second. Snipes out the 3rd. This is a problem for the French. Well, Mongols might have just timed this to perfection. He's going to kill a lot of the army. Without the army, there's going to be nothing to defend those villages. This is looking bad for kiljardi. There wasn't enough time to make sure he had enough army. And while the villagers can't get their shivs out, they're fighting. Well, this is a problem. I mean, if he kills a spearman, it should be okay, but there's still archers there. This is a big fight. I mean, kiljardi, he's really committing with the villagers. Oh, that's a bit tricky. Okay, this is rough. This is super, super rough. I mean, is this right? Is he actually going to engage with the village? Is he just going to fight? He's going to straight up fight. I mean, there's archers there. I mean, village account-wise, he's down to 52. Not a bad fight in the end, I gotta say. Actually, maybe it's definitely the right call in the end. You gotta do it. He's down to 8 military. GUA, though, he smells blood. There's an opportunity to do more aggression. He needs to keep up pumping. And he could make this greed pay. But kiljardi still ahead on village count. That just shows you the power of the French town centers despite losing 23 villagers. And ultimately, he was ahead on villages for such a long time. The economy is looking strong. The only concern for kiljardi, he took some bad fights, that is for sure. GUA, he needs to double down. He needs more units. Scouting Falcon was deployed just to get some vision. Struggling for wood here, kiljardi, although could move back onto this one. Building up the forces once again. Looks like the Mongols are starting to pepper out more arrows at those villages and the berries and starting to group once again and looking to take one more big fight. But not committing just yet. $600 wood in the bag there, GUA. I wonder what he's thinking about that and how he uses that wood. Could be thinking about a second town centre, which I'm not so sure about. He would need a third to be able to keep up with the French. Scouting Falcon comes out, looking to deny the wood. He's going to break through eventually. Oh, kiljardi, he's not bringing his army there. Maybe looking to go for a counter-attack instead. That's kind of an interesting decision. Villagers having to back away on that wood line and go back onto the original wood line. He's going to keep his archers there for now. He's going to commit with more production buildings. We'll get some raiding bounty here. GUA. 800 wood. I mean, it seems like he's going for a second town centre, right? Other than that, on mass rams, we'll have to see. Does he yet have siege engineering? He does not. Yeah, it's going to be a second town centre, which I'm not so sure about that decision. He's behind on economy quite in a big way. Sure, he did a lot of damage, but he's going to need to commit to a third town centre maybe. I'm not sure if he's done enough damage to warrant that. But he won't know that necessarily. And this is going to give the French a nice, well-earned break. Being able to rebuild the economy. Now, he will need a farming transition pretty soon, though. And that could hurt. In terms of timing, at least. It's interesting that he went for a second town centre. The only other option really was possibly for a castle age or a full onslaught feudal age push once again. It's kind of interesting to see GUA go for a second town centre approach out of those three options. We'll see if it's the right one. The commander can use a scouting falcon just once again, just to see what he's up against, and this could be a decent fight. It's going to again push those villages away from wood. No wheelbarrow, by the way. That's not enough spearmen, I think. That's a lot of cavalry. This could be an issue. Like, if the spearmen numbers go down there for the French, that'll give free reign of the cavalry. Look to take out the outpost first and look to use the torch damage well. But the archers, they're a bit indecisive there for the Mongols. Now he does engage spearmen against spearmen. Archers on the spearmen. And well, yeah, you can see the definite focus here for the Mongols, focusing on the spearmen numbers as much as possible. Then to allow the cavalry to do what they need to do. But in fact, there aren't that much cavalry left. Just one Keshik and one horseman. And overall, this is a good hold here for the French. He's got a decent number of archers remaining. Only one Keshik. He has to back away here. He doesn't have enough. And he's getting pushed back with those knights, getting good pickoffs on the reinforcements. That's a decent number of knights overall. And GUA, he lost that fight. And this is where things starting to really turn. The tide's definitely turning. The pendulum definitely swinging. Those archers looking in great numbers here for kiljardi. Oh, he's denying the villagers on deer camp as well. Yep, that second town centre, it was pretty much the nail on the coffin, I think, that decision. It feels like kiljardi now, he smells blood. Better economy, better military. I wouldn't be surprised to see him push out very soon. Be a mistake if he didn't. In fact, I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be a mistake if he doesn't want to take advantage of the fight he just took. He wants to really solidify his economy and position. He might think about Castle Age behind this if he feels confident that he has a good standing army. But he's got to be careful. Army's starting to build up once again. Double production for the Uvu can often benefit the Mongols in that regard. Get units out quickly. Now with 2 town centers for the French, they'll of course be outproducing villagers compared to the Mongols' 2 town center. And puts them in a good spot, and Khan heading further forward. They can just harass that wood line, spotting where he's open, but he's actually trapped him in. Khan can't escape easily just yet. Gui getting fitted leatherwork to complete the blacksmith upgrades for both players. A couple of knights going to charge down the Khan. And walling up now. Yep, he's going to get that farming transition. Which is probably a good thing to solidify, actually. Get that food economy safe and secure before you push out. And kiljardi playing this very defensive, I've got to say, compared to his styles of usual play. Gui really starting to bash his head against the wall. Going to try and break through. Khan does go down. I mean, there are archers now involved, so those villagers can't hang out there repairing for too much longer, and the Keshiks healing themselves up by destroying the palisade walls. Might be pushed off with wood. Not for the first time here, kiljardi. He's bringing his army there. Who's going to blink first? Who's going to consider going to the castle edge? It almost feels like Gui is itching towards that position, by the way, getting an outpost for that vision. Although, as I said, that he spends the rest of the food that he has in the bank, so maybe not. Maybe not. But 23 minutes, both players still in the feudal age. You love to see it. Villagers going down. They're not going to get the outpost at the end, and the horsemen like to dive in, but there's a lot of spearmen there for the French. Those spearmen could be the clutch play. If they go down to the archers from the Mongols, it'll allow the Keshiks to do what they need to do, and actually, yeah, spearmen numbers not looking all that great anymore. This is a big fight. Cavalry numbers looking decent, but look at that. Defender's advantage coming in clutch. Knights coming out for the French. Going to snipe out a lot of those archers. The Mongols, yeah, they can't win that fight. He has to back away with the rest of the archers, but take a look. Those knights will charge them down. Gui having to back away. He's under all sorts of pressure. Once again, another push. Didn't quite work. Gui, he's got his tail between his legs, has to back away and needs reinforcements. They are coming out, though. They're coming out pretty quickly. That second town centre for Gui has at least let him keep up a little bit with that eco that has emerged as the French. Well, those archer numbers looking scary. Even with that number of horsemen on the field, it can take a decent trade. Especially if he's got a couple of knights, which he does, to tank on that front line. He's going to look to take out a couple of production buildings and... Well, if the French keep trickling in units and re-establishing a control in this area, or establishing rather than re-establishing, never really had control of this area, but he might do now. New Khan rises. Maybe look to try and change that issue. Keshiks get sniped, and that's really not what you want here. The big problem for Gui is if units pop out, they'll be sniped pretty quickly. One Keshik going to tank against a lot of those archers. Coming in from the west side. Those horsemen look to get a wrap around. Coming in from the west side, getting a good surround. Those archers very exposed. The Khan uses the ability. Decent number of archers there for the Mongols and spearmen. But again, I'm not so sure. I mean, it should be a decent fight for the Mongols overall because of those horsemen numbers. But you need to take care of those knights and the spearmen first. If they do that, those horsemen will come out on top. Those archers are pretty exposed now. This is a great fight here for Gui. Those archers got caught. And well, kiljardi trying to back away. I mean, to be fair, with that massive archers, he's picking off the horsemen. I'm afraid he doesn't have enough cavalry in the end. Even with the defender's advantage, that mass of archers from the French. It's enough. That might have been the final fight for the Mongols. Difficult to now regroup and rebuild that army numbers, because now the French will just camp on this. Got plenty of wood. He's going to get rams. He's going to get mass rams. He's got 1,400 wood in the bank, with plenty of archers to build those rams with. The infrastructure surely going to go down soon for the Mongols. A better economy. Looking to be pretty much a better military at this stage. GOA has to find a way to make that defender's advantage count. He's still pumping. Over will be next. And it's definitely good to take that out because, of course, the Mongols, that's a nice bit of a comeback mechanism being able to double produce, but he's not going to have access to that anymore unless he rebuilds it elsewhere. Rams are popping out. And this is going to be a big problem for the Mongols because he needs to focus on the army. That allows the Rams to have a free reign on the infrastructure. Now, of course, the Mongols can pack up and leave with an infrastructure. But again, as they do that, it means the production buildings would be idled. Ram's going to take the stable down. This could be the final fight. 4 rams. GOA, though, going to hold in between those 2 town centres and try and take out the rams first. But if kiljardi spots that, he's going to head in with his army, and he does just that. He's going to engage rams. Are going to work on that town centre. Archers behind the town centre. Spearmen are going to get a clean engagement on those knights. Are going to come in from the west side again. GOA getting a good wraparound with the keshiks and the horsemen. Trying to get a good wraparound on the archers. Doesn't quite manage it. A lot of knights there for the French. That's a lot of knights. I mean, this should be a good clean-up fight here for the French. If he takes out the keshiks, that'll allow the knights to get right on top of those archers. There's still a decent number of archers, though, for the Mongols, although there's plenty of units coming in for the French. Villagers with their torches out, looking to try and take out those rams. Takes out 1 town centre already. Villagers trying to focus on those rams as best as possible. There's a lot of idle time being caused, and there's archers now clearing up the army. They're going to also start to clear up those villagers. But there's still a decent number of Mongol archers still alive. Those knights, though, going to get clear of those. And, well, this is exposure. This gold vein, pretty exposed with those villagers. And this could be the end of it, ladies and gentlemen, because that army is looking at way too overwhelming. 50 to 26, and kiljardi dominating with that army. He's going to go up to the castle age with the Royal Institute. Really just to seal the deal, to put the final nail in that coffin. The Mongols, they are struggling. Villagers going down. I think it's down to 86 villagers at this point. Full feudal age from these 2 players. We don't expect anything less. These 2 crazy lads definitely love their aggression, and we're seeing it today. Line numbers, though, they're starting to trickle down a little bit. Still has a couple of spearmen being sacrificed for the French. Defender's advantage still helping and holding on for the Mongols somewhat. He heads further forward. Archers versus archers at this point. The outpost still up and running, and with some garrisoned units, 1 ram still remains. Ram going to go down potentially here for the horseman diving in, and the spearman too trying to challenge it. He does take out the ram, which is going to buy himself a little bit more time. In fact, you know what? Defender's advantage might be bringing him back a little bit in this fight. But overall, macro-wise, kiljardi definitely ahead. He's definitely got a lot more backed up resources. I think kiljardi needs to retreat, actually. This could be a decent hold for the Mongols. Defender's advantage. Holding him in a good spot. kiljardi has to reset, regroup, and take another fight again. Maybe GOA is not quite out of this just yet. Khan leading the charge and leading the defense. Now, a decent bit of infrastructure damage was done, by the way. Losing that 2nd town centre means that villager lead will start to climb once again, although kiljardi probably won't be investing too much more into villages. Already has 120. At this point, it's all about pumping out army. But with kiljardi now in the castle age, he's going to have veteran knights and veteran archers coming in soon. Royal bloodlines too. The Royal Institute, I love that play, by the way. It can be tempting to go to the guild hall, but when you're up against this pressure, this tempo, sometimes that power spike, you need to double it down in terms of the tech up, and Royal Bloodlines will be that massive spike that potentially could be the game-winning change. But what could also be game-winning are, of course, man-at-arms. Very difficult for the Mongols to counter in the feudal age. And there's no real signs of him going to the castle age. He can't really afford it. I mean, if he does, he's not going to have any army being produced, and, well, it'll be difficult for him to hold. It might be go time for kiljardi. He's got veteran units after all. I mean, Gio might have to commit, but he doesn't really have the ability to win this fight. Not with these upgrades coming in. Balanced projectiles coming in as well for the French. And these units are going to be incredibly strong. These French veteran archers will be enough to deal with those cavalry. In fact, especially with the balanced projectiles coming in. Royal bloodlines too on those veteran knights. Looking ominous here. Equal military numbers, but that doesn't tell you the full picture because each unit here is just straight up better for the French at this point. Also adding in a couple of arbaletiers and man-at-arms. Arbaletiers, if they focus on the Keshiks, they're going to really rip them apart. About to take the engagement. He does clash with those veteran knights, and this could be the big fight that turns the fight and the game. A lot of archers there for kiljardi, veteran ones. Yeah, I think Gio has no option but to fight, and he's going to have to micro his heart out, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Not with those man-at-arms sprinkled in, and I think at this point, defender's advantage can't really save him. Down to 17, 16 military, attack behind, villagers behind, military behind, and there it is. It's got to be kiljardi heading with the veteran knights. There's nothing to deny that. Even spearmen at this point won't be enough, because there'll be a few late spearmen. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Gio taps out. He held on. He did a lot of aggression. kiljardi, they're playing that macro approach with the 2 town centers from the French, and eventually translated into a better army. Hope you guys enjoy that casted game. Take care, and see you next time.